I put this hat on because I didn't want to have to fuck with my hair before the video, and it's not helping. I watched a total of 183 films this year, which isn't like a crazy amount compared to other people, but I'm still pretty proud of that number. And 51 of those movies were horror films. So today, after finishing that crazy 2-part 28 Days Later series, I thought I'd take some time to have some fun and just look through every single horror movie I watched in 2022 and review them real quick for you guys. But anyway, yeah, let's just get started all the way back at the beginning. I think this is mostly in order, except it gets kind of different near the end. I think I logged things a few times on this app. I'm using Letterboxd, by the way, that's what I'm looking off of. So the first horror movie I watched in 2022 was Scream, or Scream 5 as I called it in my fucking little review I did back then. I did a whole like 16-minute long no script review on this movie when it came out, and most of my opinions have stayed pretty similar. I've actually grown on the movie a lot. I think it's a lot more fun than I originally thought it was, and I'd even go as far as to say I kind of like it more than Scream 4 at this point, so it's like my third favorite rather than my fucking fourth favorite or whatever I said. But I'd still definitely say that movie's like a 7 out of 10. I don't want to change my score. If I did change it, it'd be a 7.5, but you know, I'm still gonna keep that one pretty similar. I've rewatched this movie like maybe 3 or 4 times since it came out, and each time I still enjoy it, and that Dewey death still gets me. So it's a pretty solid movie. I definitely recommend it. I'm also extremely hyped for Scream 6. Like, I've been hyped for this shit all year, and that trailer just came out recently by the time I'm recording this. And ooh, damn, bro. I love the vagueness of that trailer. It gets you so hyped for the next movie without showing you really anything that happens in it. For all we know, that scene on the subway might not even be in the movie at all. Anyway, yeah, 7 out of 10. Let's move on to the next movie. The second horror movie I watched this year was called The Faculty, and this movie was kind of fucking boring. I think I've seen like the end of this movie when I was a kid, but I wanted to watch it all the way through now, and I kind of regret that in a sense. It's a very dated horror film about aliens or something taking over a school, and it's funny and entertaining at sometimes, at other times it's just really fucking boring. I'm gonna play it safe here and give it a 5 out of 10. My feelings on this thing aren't very strong in either category, but I did give it a 2-star review on Letterboxd in Vegas. My friend, a YouTuber you might know in Vegas, he said I don't know shit in this is cinema, so I'm really sorry, Vegas, to offend you. The next movie I watched was called There's Someone Inside Your House. I just have a bad stigmatism around this movie because I watched it when I was like really sick, and that's just kind of stuck with me, and that's the vibe of this movie for me now. This movie also is really bad. I almost made a whole video about this movie because it's that bad. I still might make a whole video about this fucking movie. If you want to know what There's Someone Inside Your House or whatever the fuck it's about, watch Scream, the first one, and it's exactly that. The killer in this movie turns out to be like the richer partier type teen guy who throws a big party in his house and wears a red robe. Yes, they did that exact thing. They were that uncanny with it. But yeah, this movie fucking sucks. 2 out of 10. The next movie I watched was one that I missed in 2021 but really wanted to see, and that's Last Night in Soho. Edgar Wright is my all-time favorite director. Hot Fuzz is like my favorite comedy. Shaun of the Dead is also one of my favorite films ever. And I've enjoyed just about everything that dude has made. Like, every single one of his films is pretty much a masterpiece in my book. And this one was no exception. I saw some mixed things about this movie, but I fucking love this movie. I think it's amazing. I think it's visually so appealing. I think the story is interesting. I think the characters are likable. And the twist ending was one of the most fun twist endings since I first watched Scream. I don't know why I keep bringing up Scream, but that's like part of the channel at this point. Yeah, really great movie. I'm gonna give it a 8.5 out of 10, and I really recommend you check that shit out, bro. It's so good. The next movie I watched was Spiral, because this one was on my list for a while because I was not really a big fan of the Saw franchise. I've only really seen the first 2, but Chris Rock as a leading role in a horror movie was interesting enough to me that I wanted to watch it, and god damn it, do I regret it. This isn't the worst horror movie that I've watched so far, obviously. It's still There's Someone Inside Your House or whatever, but this is probably the second worst. This movie fucking sucks. This movie makes no sense. This movie's fucking boring. The characters fucking suck. Everything about this movie just doesn't work for me. I'm gonna have to give it 3 out of 10. 2 out of 10, I don't know, 3 out of 10, fuck it. And then I watched the original The Hills Have Eyes, and I really like this movie. Sure, this movie's dated, it's kind of corny at times, and the dialogue's pretty cheesy, and there's some scenes that just haven't aged that well, but it's still a really fun movie. This movie has inspired countless horror films throughout the years, like Wrong Turn, and fucking the entire Wrong Turn franchise, I don't know. And this movie's just really fun. I enjoyed it beginning to end, and I'm glad that I watched it. Yeah, 7 out of 10. And then I watched The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, which is Wes Craven's sequel to that one. And despite how much I love Wes Craven, and I love the first movie as well, this movie was fucking dog shit. This movie was boring. This movie didn't make any sense. There was a blind girl in this movie for no reason. She was just blind. They bring back one of the main characters of the first film just for him to disappear after the first 5 minutes of the movie. He was the only character smart enough to not go through that desert area. So I respect him for that. But everything else about this movie is boring and forgettable. It's just another generic slasher. I'm pretty sure Wes Craven only made this movie. The studio basically told him to. So if you want to make movies that he actually was passionate about, he had to make this one, and he did. And it was basically unfinished, and it fucking sucks. I'm gonna give it like a fat 2 out of 10, because I get it, it's Hills Have Eyes 2. And then I followed that film up with the Hills Have Eyes remake, which I was expecting to hate, but I actually enjoyed this movie quite a bit. Sure, I'd say it's forgettable. I watched it like after the first one, and I kind of forgot that I watched it at all. But it's still really entertaining. It takes the first one and it puts a nice spin on it. It has some creepy touches. It has really good action, but it has basically the same setup. Like the first half of the movie is just the original movie, and then the rest of the movie is something unique. So I'm gonna give it like a 6 out of 10. It's not on the level of the first one, but it's also not bad like the other two. What do you mean, the other two? Well, there's another Hills Have Eyes too, you fucking idiot. Don't you know that? Actually, if you were saying, you probably wouldn't know that. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It's just these dumbass military soldiers. None of them are likable. They're all in the mountains trying to hunt down these fucking incest monster guys, and they just start dying one by one. At one point, a dude crawls out of a toilet, and I think that's supposed to be scary. This thing takes the generic slasher feel of the original sequel and then mixes it with the shitty fucking exploitativeness of the Wrong Turn franchise, and then you get this diabolical creature that it creates. A terrible movie. I almost didn't finish it. I was about to fall asleep in the last 20 minutes. 1 out of 10. I'm going that far. I don't even know if I've given anything else on the channel 1 out of 10 before, but I'm gonna give this one a 1 out of 10. To clear my palate, I wanted to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, and God, it's so good. I've heard my whole life that this movie's a masterpiece, and it's kind of one of those films where it's like, yeah, I'll get around to watching it eventually, and then when you do, you're like, holy shit, I'm a dumbass. This is as good as people say it was, and I should have watched it 2 fucking years ago. And yes, this shit is as good as people say it is. It's a complete masterpiece. It is terrifying from beginning to end. It is shot so well. The people working on it really cared about what they were making, you can tell, and they somehow achieved the full potential of what they were coming up with without actually getting that big of a budget to start with. So that's really impressive. I'm gonna get this one a 9 out of 10. And then I watched House of a Thousand Corpses, which I heard was great. I'm not really the biggest Rob Zombie guy. I didn't really enjoy his Halloween spin, and that's like the only shit I'm familiar with his. I never really listened to his music. I'm sure it's great. But I did not fucking like this movie very much. It kind of felt like a 2000s punk music video version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if that makes sense. It put style before it put any substance whatsoever, and the style it was going for was one that I really didn't care for, so it just didn't work for me. This movie's just bleak, depressing, exploitative, and dark, and it just ends in a shitty way. It doesn't really leave a good taste in my mouth. I don't know, it's not my favorite. I'm gonna give that one like a 5 out of 10. It's a very okay movie. And then I watched Sleepaway Camp, and holy shit with this one, y'all. This movie's weird. This movie's stupid. This movie's poorly made. I fucking love this movie. This shit was so fucking funny, bro, from beginning to end. And I think that was intentional. This has some of the most memorable lines that I still quote to my friends on this day. Eat shit and live, Bill. It's just a fun slasher and all. It has some good moments, and it's also really funny. And that twist ending was so... oh, it exists. I'm gonna give this shit a 6 out of 10. It's pretty fucking bad, obviously, but it's still really, really good. And then quite the total shift here, I watched The Last House on the Left, and Jesus Christ, if you haven't seen this movie, don't. It's a Wes Craven film. I think it might be his first movie, and I think it might be a remake of a movie that came out like a decade before. I don't know. This movie's about these 2 girls who get kidnapped and then they basically just get raped and murdered. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's one of the faces of like that 70s exploit film horror type thing, and it's definitely unsettling. It's not really scary though. It's unsettling and it's not fun to watch, and it leaves a gross taste in your mouth, but not in the way that you would equate to a good horror movie, if that makes sense. I'm gonna give it like a 6. I don't know, it's definitely not my favorite Craven film at all. A Prom Night. I thought this film was gonna be a lot cornier and cheesier than it actually was, but it's really dark. This movie starts with this girl falling to her death because these other kids are bullying her. Like, that's fucked. And then later, her brother comes back all these years later to murder all the people who are technically responsible for her death, even though it's been so long and they've changed so much as people. It's almost kind of hard to watch because, like, these people that he's killing aren't really heinous people. They did a fucked up thing when they were kids. Yeah, they definitely did. But they don't really deserve to die for it now, which is kind of what the movie's interesting moral dilemma is. Like, there's a scene where a girl almost gets raped by her boyfriend basically, and then she's like, fuck you, let's break up, and he leaves her alone, and then she gets murdered. Like, couldn't have used her murderous abilities to take out that rapist while you were at it. And this movie actually has a really sad ending when Jamie Lee Curtis finds out that it's her brother who's been doing all the murders, and then he just fucking dies in her arm in front of everybody, and it's left on this really bleak ending. And I really enjoyed this movie. That's why I wanted to watch the sequel after it, which we'll talk about in a second. I'm gonna give Prom Night a 7 out of 10. It's a really solid slasher movie for how dated and cheap it was. And then they made Hello Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. This movie was not originally meant to be the sequel to Prom Night. It was originally called like... It was originally called like Haunted School or some shit, I don't know, but they basically took this premise for this supernatural, Carrie-like horror movie and they made it Prom Night 2 for whatever reason. This movie's bad. I'm sorry, this movie's really bad. This movie's weird, it's not that original, it's very much just trying to be Carrie. It has a few cool scenes, like some trippy scenes where like a chalkboard turns into some portal or something, and then this one chick gets crushed between 2 lockers. It's weird. But I still watched the movie all the way through, and I actually kind of enjoyed it at times. It's very fucking stupid. And I tried to watch the third one, but I had to give up after the first scene, dude. Yeah, this movie is just, it's forgettable. I don't really know what to say about it now, and it kind of sucks, so I'm just gonna give it a 3 out of 10. And then I watched The Dentist, and this movie is fucking disturbing. It's just a bunch of close-ups of people's mouths getting cut up by this crazy motherfucker. This movie kind of follows this weird American Psycho type deal plot where this dude is just going crazy, and it's like, is he really doing this shit or is he just crazy? No, he's just crazy. This movie's extremely forgettable though, which is pretty disappointing. I didn't really enjoy it that much at all. It wasn't scary, it was just unsettling to watch. It was gross. So yeah, 5 out of 10. I don't really have any extreme feelings on this one either. And then I watched Halloween 2 for the first time this year because I'd never seen this one and I heard mixed things about it. This is a fucking great sequel. I absolutely love the sequel from beginning to end. I think the pacing is kind of slow at times, but the kills are exciting, the plot is exciting. It feels like the true ending of that first night that Halloween 1 takes place on. And I don't know, man, I just really enjoyed this. I really did. At times I enjoyed it more than the first one. I just think this is a solid sequel all around, and that Rotten Tomatoes score is some bullshit. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna give this movie like a 8 out of 10. It's really fucking good. I recommend it wholeheartedly. Now I was kind of in the Jamie Lee Curtis slasher feel after Halloween 2 and also watching Prom Night, so I watched another one of hers called Terror Train. I don't remember a single thing that happens in this movie. This shit is bizarre. It's just a horror movie that takes place on a train during like New Year's Eve, and this guy's like murdering all these people in this ridiculous looking mask. It's cheaply made, it's boring, it's forgettable, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, this movie just didn't work for me. Could barely finish it. 4 out of 10 is poo poo. Next movie. I followed that movie up with Re-Animator, which is so fucking good. This movie's cheaply made and it's kind of dated, but if you haven't seen this, I highly recommend that you fucking do. If you like movies like Shaun of the Dead, stuff like that mixes horror and bizarre shit perfectly, just like the perfect horror comedy type feel. That's what Re-Animator very much is. It follows this scientist who develops this serum that can resurrect the dead, but it basically just makes them insane, murderous beings. And it's a lot of fun, man. It gets crazy, the finale is super entertaining. The one thing I don't like about this movie is that it had to follow that whole 80s horror film trope of having a rape scene. That was a trope for 70s and 80s horror movies, if you didn't know that. They always had like at least one rape scene, and I noticed that a lot throughout my months of watching these older horror movies. But yeah, besides that, Re-Animator is a really solid film, and I give it an 8 out of 10. Hey guys, quick intermission. I thought I'd have some fun real quick and take a bowl break and thank you guys for 500 subscribers. Fuck.
You stupid fucking bitch. You'll never make a goddamn horror movie, you fucking suck at reviewing, you stupid motherfucking. Get a goddamn heck.
Thank you guys. I didn't actually think I'd be able to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, which I did not expect the 28 Days Later video to do as well as it did. Thank you so damn much for 500 subs. Couldn't have done it without any of you guys, obviously. Thank you so much for how well the 28 Days Later video is doing as well. That shit means the world to me. I recorded that shit back in like January, if you couldn't tell by my fucking hair. And I finally was able to finish it. And by the time this video is out, the second part should be out too. So, fuck yeah. Anyway, let's see if I can get this shit to light. 500 subs. Celebration. Anyway, back to it. Immediately after watching Re-Animator, I watched Bride of Re-Animator, which if you haven't seen, it's really fucking fun. I actually preferred this movie to the original, which I know a lot of people don't do. But it just worked for me because it completely ups the zaniness of the last one. It's way more fun, it's way more interesting, and the comedy just outdoes itself. It fully leans into this visual style that they set up in the first one, and it goes even further in this one. The bride herself is a very cool and interesting looking character and monster design, and the plot of this one is just really fun too. There's this like detective guy trying to figure it out. It doesn't end well for him. If you thought the characters were extremely gay in the first one, you're gonna love this one. This is probably one of the gayest horror movies I've ever seen. It's like right up there with Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And I don't say that as a bad thing at all. I think it's actually very ahead of its time to do that. But anyway, the sequel's a whole lot of fucking fun. I really recommend it. It's like an 8.5 while the original's like an 8. I'd say that's about good. And then I followed it up with the third film in this trilogy, Beyond Re-Animator. I went into this film with my hopes high. I fucking loved the first two, and I was expecting to love this one. I did not. This movie takes place in a prison, like 13 years later or something like that, after the second one. We still have the amazing main character. I don't really remember his name right now, but you guys definitely know him, and he's iconic, and his performance is amazing. That doesn't change. The rest of this movie, however, sucks. He gets a new sidekick, it replaces the old one. It takes place in a prison with a bunch of unlikable, nasty characters. The movie's pacing is just terrible. The first two acts of the movie are fucking boring. It doesn't get good until the third act, and I'm saying good is kind of pushing it. It's entertaining. The gore and violence is fun, I guess. There's a scene where a dick like gets in a boxing match with a mouse or something. I don't fucking know, bro. 4 out of 10. Show me the next fucking movie. The next movie I watched is called Stage Fright. This is a slasher from the late 80s that takes place entirely on the set of a play. Or it's a musical, I think, actually. There's this known serial killer walking around with this big owl mask on and murdering people. It's a lot of fun. The kills are really entertaining. The characters, they're fun to watch them bicker and yell at each other. And it's also pretty fun to see them get picked off one by one. They all kind of deserve it. But this is just a really fun slasher, and if you love current films like Scream, then you owe it to yourself to watch this one, because you can really see that films like this set the roots for what Scream would grow out of, you know what I mean? Very good movie, 7 out of 10. The next one I watched is a weird one. It's definitely stuck with me. It's called Tourist Trap. It follows this group of kids who end up in the middle of nowhere at this guy's like farm, basically, and he has this weird tourist trap thingy where you can come look at these animatronic mannequins and all this weird stuff, and then as the movie goes on, this guy, the creepy mask, starts attacking them with the mannequins and shit, like magic or robotics. It's not really explained ever, but it's interesting. But it's a really weird movie. I don't really remember everything that happens in it, but I fondly remember watching it. I enjoyed it for what it is. It's definitely dated and it's really fucking stupid at times, but it's a lot of fun. It's let's say like a 6 out of 10. And then I watched When a Stranger Calls, which is basically one of the biggest inspirations for Scream, since I keep bringing it up in this fucking video. And this movie's really good. The intro is really thrilling, and I didn't really know how they were gonna carry the rest of the film after that. All I really knew was the intro. So I was in for a surprise after that. I went in completely blind, and I watched the rest of the movie, and I really enjoyed it. I wish I remembered more about it that I could tell you, but I don't. But I remembered liking it anyway. And then I watched The Wicker Man with some friends. This is a weird movie. I didn't watch the Nick Cage version, don't worry. As much as I would love to, Nick Cage movies are a genre of their own. This one is also fucking crazy, bro. I think the complete insaneness of the remake distract from how weird this fucking movie is. It's like a musical at times. It follows this cop who goes to this island to investigate like someone's disappearance or something. And everyone there is weird. It gives off very cult vibes. It's kind of like Hot Fuzz. And then at the end they like sacrifice him in a giant Wicker Man because they're insane cultists. So yeah, interesting movie, fun time. The next movie I watched is a classic called Suspiria. I fucking love this movie. It's so entertaining. It's so visually rich. My only negative with it really is the pacing is a little off sometimes. There was a few times where I felt kind of bored. But other than that, I had a great time. It's very suspenseful, it's beautifully shot, it's visually stunning, the aesthetic is sick. You just gotta give this one a watch, man. If you haven't seen Suspiria, you fucking owe it to yourself to watch this shit. And then I went to see X. I wasn't really familiar with Ty West as a director, and I didn't really know that much about the premise. I kind of knew what the movie was about, but I mostly wanted to see it because I'm a big fan of fucking Kid Cudi, I can't lie. And I watched the movie, and it was one of the most fun horror experiences I had last year. It's a homage, it's like a love letter, if you will, to classic slasher movies of the type. It's hilarious, it's scary, it's dark, the villain is interesting. Yeah, this movie's really great. I'd love to see some more work from Ty West in the future. I haven't seen Pearl yet, so don't expect to see that on this list. I know there's no excuse for not having seen it at this point. I know. But I did catch a lot of other horror movies this year, so get off my case. I'll watch it in 2023, and then I'll put it in my 2023 horror movies video. Don't worry. But yeah, X is super entertaining. Mia Goth is amazing in it. Kid Cudi's amazing in it. Just about everybody in this is amazing. I'm gonna give this like a solid 8.5 out of 10. This is a really good movie. And then I watched The Stepfather, and I don't remember a single thing that happens in this movie. It's about like this murderous stepfather who murders his family and then just moves on to find another one. If you're scared of stepdads, this is the movie for you. 3 out of 10. I don't have much to say. And then for also the first time ever this year, I watched Halloween 3, which I heard my whole childhood was shit, and oh, Michael Myers is in it, so it must be bad. Nah, this movie is really fucking fun. It's not on the level of the first two. It's pretty ridiculous, but it's one of the most interesting Halloween movies, and it kind of makes me wish that they went with this whole anthology idea they had, because I would love to see more original crazy films like this from unique visions instead of just Michael Myers over and 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 over again. So yeah, 7 out of 10. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend you watch it. Not decadently. And if you have seen and you didn't like it, maybe try watching it again. Maybe it'll grow on you. Who knows? So then I watched Creep, which is a found footage horror movie about this insane dude who hires a cameraman to help him film a video for his son because he's dying of cancer or some shit. He's not. I don't usually care for found footage movies, but this one is easily my favorite that's ever been made. This shit is fucking scary from beginning to end. It is uncomfortable. I highly recommend you watch this shit. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil this movie. It's not very long and you should give it a shot. It's on Netflix right now. So yeah, 9 out of 10. It's a really fucking great movie. And then I watched From Beyond, which is a cosmic horror film by the guy who made the first Re-Animator. It's like lightly based off of the Lovecraft story, I'm pretty sure. And it's really interesting. There's a lot of sexual shit in this movie that I really didn't care for, but the cosmic horror side of it is amazing. It's super crazy. It's visually incredible. I keep wanting to say amazing. I need different words besides amazing. Oh, anybody home? It was a really fucking good movie. I highly recommend it if you like cosmic horror at all, or just like the fear of the unknown in general. 80s horror special effects that still hold up today, then this is for you. Then I watched Blood Rage. Man, this movie is so fucking funny. It's about this like twin brother who commits murder and then he pins it on his other twin brother. So the twin brother who gets framed for murder breaks out of prison all these years later to stop his real twin brother who's actually a murderer blah blah blah, you get it. People die in really boring ways. The kills aren't very fun in this movie. This movie has terrible pacing. This movie's shot like a fucking sitcom. And I wasn't a big fan. So yeah, I don't remember anything about this movie. It sucks kinda. I'm just gonna give it a 3 out of 10, fuck it. And then I watched Phantasm, which is a very bizarre science fiction type horror movie about this kid who finds this like weird fucking building with this tall dude in it, and there's some crazy shit going on. It was entertaining. It was a very entertaining watch. There's like a whole series of these, and I hear that they're all actually pretty decent, but I've only seen the first one as of right now, but maybe I will change that in the future. So yeah, 6 out of 10, it's pretty good. And then I watched the film Urban Legends Final Cut, because I never seen the movie Urban Legends, and I thought that this was just like an extended version of that. It's a sequel. I didn't know there was a sequel. There's 3 apparently. What the fuck? I watched this shit on accident. I didn't realize until like halfway through that it was a sequel. But I was really fucking high when I watched it, and I remember liking it quite a bit, even though the kills were extremely boring. Except for like one of them, I think. There was like one where the dude cut someone's head off of a window. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, but I don't really remember much about this one. So, 4 out of 10. So then I watched the movie Teeth. 3 out of 10 next movie. I watched Resident Evil, the newest one, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which came out like last year. It's actually pretty good. It's not like great, it's not anything special, it's not even as close to the level the video games is based on, obviously, but it's definitely nowhere near as bad as the original series, and nowhere near as hilarious as the Netflix show that's happening right now. I heard that this movie sucked, but it doesn't. It very much doesn't, right? They casted Leon perfectly. I love the casting so much. I don't remember his name right now, but he's in shit like Zombieland 2 and Victorious. He's a great actor. He's a really funny guy. Perfect for the role. He's absolutely perfect for Leon Kennedy. The other castings were kind of meh. They were like to be expected. They were mediocre-ish. They were like fan castings that you would see in 2010 maybe. I mean, the movie kind of mixes the first game and the second game together into one story, which I don't really wish they did. It doesn't allow either of those to achieve their fullest potential, I feel. But if you want a fun zombie movie with a decent cast, then you should just watch this movie. It's pretty good. And then I watched Insidious Chapter 2 because I watched the first one for the first time in like 2021, and this one was not nearly as good, but it's not bad. It's basically just a retread of the first one, but like the father's evil. I don't remember. I haven't seen this whole series, but I'm pretty hyped for the 5th one because it's the directorial debut of, I forget his name. It's a directorial debut of Patrick Wilson, and I'm very excited for that. So I guess I'll have to watch the other 2 films that came out between that. I think there's 2 other films. But yeah, pretty decent movie. It's like a 6 out of 10. And then my mom made me watch this movie one time with her, and it's called Hell House. It's like a found footage movie that takes place inside of one of those horror contraption things, and it's actually haunted. Ooh, spooky stuff happens. None of it's really explained. It's just a bunch of weird spooky things after the other. It was a pretty okay movie. There were certain scenes that were kind of unnerving, but it's nothing new. 5 out of 10. It's very middle of the road. And then I watched Men, and this is when the video might get controversial because this movie's a little controversial. But I fucking really liked this movie, okay? I really did. I thought it was scary as fuck. I thought it was visually amazing. I thought the message that it had, I thought it told it very well. I guess I'm a little biased because this is directed by Alex Garland, who's like my favorite writer of all time. One of them, he wrote my favorite movie, 28 Days Later. We just made a video about that. You should go check it out. But this one's also really great. 10 out of 10. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. I can't lie to you. The next movie I watched is Prey, the newest film in the Predator franchise. God, that sounds so bad. But it's directed by the same dude who did 10 Cloverfield Lane, another film which I really enjoyed. And Prey just blew me out of the fucking water. I wasn't expecting this. I went in with kind of lower hopes because I don't really like the Predator movies that much. And then I came out fucking surprised. This shit is entertaining from beginning to end. The action is amazing. The kills are awesome. The visual style is super cool. The characters are all likable, especially the main character. She's played super well. This, in my opinion, is by far the best in the Predator franchise. Also, isn't it pretty crazy that we got the 5th Scream film and the 5th Predator film in the same year? I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, 9 out of 10. It's really good. The next film I watched is a little one called Seoul Station. It's an animated film. It's like the prequel to Train to Busan. If you haven't seen that movie, it's also really great. This is also a pretty good movie. The animation is solid. The voice acting is pretty decent, and the story is pretty interesting. It has a twist that I wasn't actually expecting until they reveal it at the end. It's a fun zombie flick. It's pretty dark and it's really interesting, so I recommend you check it out. Yeah, 7 out of 10 I'd say. And then I watched the first Predator movie, which I think I'd only seen once before, but I don't really count that because I was a kid and I only saw like half of it. So I watched it for the first time all the way through in 2022. So Predator is a pretty great movie as well. It's really entertaining. It's kind of dated and corny, but it's a lot of fun. And then I watched The Black Phone, which I don't know if it came out in 2022 or in 2021. I don't fucking know at this point. I get both when I look it up. But this was the next movie in Scott Derrickson's catalog after he left Marvel a few years back. I do enjoy his films for what they are. I don't think they're really anything great, but they're also not bad. Sinister is a pretty good horror movie. I've only seen it a few times though, so I think I'm due for a rewatch. And Doctor Strange is a pretty good Marvel movie. Doctor Strange is like one of my favorite Marvel characters though, so I'm kind of biased. But The Black Phone is easily my favorite movie of his so far. I wasn't actually expecting to like this movie nearly as much as I did. I kind of went in with lower expectations and I came out really pleasantly surprised. This movie's scary, it's dark, it's heartfelt. If you want a movie that makes you feel a whole roller coaster of emotions in only like an hour and 40 minutes, then you should check this one out. It's pretty good. 8 out of 10. Really solid horror flick. And then I watched this movie that my dad told me to watch called Inheritance. He told me to watch it because he's a big fan of Simon Pegg and he said, "You've never seen Simon Pegg play a character like this before." And he's right, I haven't, because this guy's just fucking crazy. It follows this girl who inherits this bunker from her dad after he dies, and down in there is this random long white-haired man, and she has to figure out what the fuck to do with him and why the fuck he's down there. It's a pretty suspenseful film. The only problem is the pacing is pretty slow, like for a lot of it, but it's still an enjoyable film. It's a good thriller. It's whatever. I give it like a 6 out of 10. This year I watched a very controversial movie made by a piece of fucking human shit. Don't worry, I pirated the fuck out of it. That movie was Jeepers Creepers. I know. The reason I wanted to watch this movie was because I remember it scaring the fuck out of me when I was a kid. It was one of the first horror movies I've ever seen, and I really enjoyed it back then, and I wanted to watch it again now. But, you know, Victor Salva, guy who made it, don't even want to say his name, almost. This is one of the biggest pieces of shit in Hollywood right now. Like, if you want to separate art from the artist or whatever the fuck, I don't know. It's a pretty decent horror movie. It's dated, but it's fun. Justin Long is really good in it. The character design, which Victor Salva didn't come up with, so I'll give the person who came up with that props. The character of Jeepers Creepers is really creepy. The music is really good. Yeah, it's an enjoyable film for what it is, besides the really dark fact that it's directed by a terrible fucking person. If you do want to watch this movie, I recommend you, or you just wait till Victor Salva dies, and then you can watch it so he doesn't gain from it. Fuck you, Victor Salva. But Jeepers Creepers is pretty good. I'll give Jeepers Creepers like a 7 out of 10. So then I followed that up with its sequel, Jeepers Creepers 2, which I remember terrifying me even more as a kid. But this, now in retrospect, it's not as good as the first one. I did not watch Jeepers Creepers 3 this year. I watched it when it came out, and I do not ever want to watch it ever again for the rest of my life. Yes, I know there's a Jeepers Creepers 4, but you must be fucking insane if you think I'm gonna watch that movie. So after that little venture, I was kind of in a Justin Long mood, so I decided to watch Drag Me to Hell. This is a Sam Raimi film, and it is fucking insane. It is completely insane. I really, really like this film though. It's very memorable, it's scary but also funny at the same time. Sam Raimi's style is very much here. It's probably the closest film he's made to the Evil Dead type Sam Raimi era in fucking 20 years. It's a good film though. I definitely recommend you check it out if you're a fan of Sam Raimi or you're a fan of like horror movies like this. Then I was still in the Justin Long mood because he's a fucking good actor and a funny guy. So I decided to watch the movie Tusk, a Kevin Smith movie that I have never seen. And this movie was actually pretty good. I enjoyed this movie. I heard a lot of terrible things about this movie over the years. People do not like this movie. Tusk is based off of like this weird internet ad I think Kevin Smith read about someone saying like, you can live with me for free basically, but all you have to do is dress up like a walrus for 2 hours of the day. So he turned that into a horror movie. Justin Long is amazing in it. The dude that turns him into the walrus is also amazing. This movie's pretty funny at times, but it's also pretty boring at times as well. And it's also pretty freaky. Like, it's pretty freaky to see this man get turned into a giant fucking walrus. But yeah, decent movie. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Then I watched The Descent, which was fine. It was decent. No. Basically, these girls go like into caves and they go cave exploring, whatever the fuck it is. And then they just get murdered by naked goblin dudes for like an hour straight. It's a pretty enjoyable experience once it gets going. This film is shot in a very strange way though. It cuts around a lot. It's so jumpy that it feels seizure inducing, I can't lie. But it's a pretty solid horror movie. It has good gore effects and it's pretty thrilling at times, so 6 out of 10. I know I said I've been giving a lot of those away, but I'm doing it again, 6 out of 10. My computer's about to die, but we're down to the final 3. These I saved for last because these are like some of my favorite horror movies that I watched this year, and that would be, I'll just start with this one, Under the Skin. Under the Skin is a movie that I've been needing to watch for years now. It's a A24 film starring Scarlett Johansson, and it's fucking creepy. This movie is very unsettling, it's very depressing, it hits tones of sadness, and it has one of the best soundtracks I've heard in the A24 film. This is also just one of the darkest movies I've ever seen, honestly. It's very dark at times, extremely, very bleak. It was a great movie though, I'm gonna have to say 9.5 out of 10. But now we're down to my top 2, my favorite horror movies I saw this year, and both of them are new releases. Zach Cregger's Barbarian is a really, really good movie. I was immediately sold once I saw the trailer. It tells you literally nothing about what the movie's about. Once you go in, fuck, dude. It's a little unpredictable. It's a lot of gory fun. It reminds me very much of like the early 2000s monster feature films. It kind of feels like a modern version of Jeepers Creepers. I've seen both of those fan bases overlapping in discussion of this new film. And it's just one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time. If you guys couldn't tell by that dumb bit I did earlier, my ultimate dream as a career is to direct horror films someday, and this kind of inspired me to get back into writing again after I'd been on break for so long. But yeah, it's a fucking amazing horror movie, and I don't even want to say anything about it because I don't want to spoil it for you. You just need to watch it, dude. If you have HBO Max, watch that shit now. 10 out of 10. Amazing movie. And then my number 1 favorite horror movie I watched this year was a little movie called Nope. Not only was Nope my favorite horror movie I watched this year, it's also currently, as things stand, my second favorite movie that I've ever seen. Jordan Peele is one of the greatest directors working right now. He never misses. All 3 of his films are complete masterpieces. This film is scary, this film is thrilling, this film is interesting. The characters are so likable, it's shot so well. Everybody's so well acted. Oh my god, the cast is so perfect. This film took both things that I love so much about the original 2 Jordan Peele movies and it combined them into one perfect product in my opinion. Nope is by far my favorite Peele movie, and it is a complete masterpiece in my books. I love this movie so much that I almost made a response video to that really stupid Twitter thread that Logan Paul did when this movie came out about how bad this movie is. I'm sure you guys have seen that. It was really fucking stupid. If you want to watch a funny video about it, I'll link Elvis the Aliens video somewhere and you can watch that. But this movie's basically perfect. This is also similar to Barbarian, where I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to spoil it, but at the same time I do want to talk about it. I think I'm just gonna have to put it off until I can make a really well-rounded review someday, because right now kind of it's hard to gather my thoughts about this film. It's really hard to explain why you love a film so much. It was really hard for me to write that 28 Days Later video at first. That's why I reviewed the entire movie. So maybe I'll do that, but with Nope. And I'll just cover everything I think is fantastic about this film. But anyway, this movie is a complete masterpiece, 10 out of 10 film. Watch it. If you haven't fucking seen it, just watch it. And that is it, dude. That is every single horror movie I watched this year for the first time. I hope you enjoyed me going over this list. I don't really think I'm gonna rank it. I'm just gonna leave that as is. You can probably already tell kind of how I feel about all these movies. But this video was a lot of fun to do. I don't really know why I decided to do it. I just did, and I think I'm gonna do it next year. So let's set a goal right now. One of my New Year's resolutions is to watch as many horror movies as I can in 2023 and make an even longer video than this one next year. So I hope you guys enjoy me going over all these horror movies today. Let me know in the comments what horror movies you watched for the first time this year and what were some of your favorites. What do you think about some of these movies that I covered? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I want to hear all of it. As long as you're nice. Be nice to people in the comment section. Don't be mean. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in a few weeks whatever my next video is. Thank you so much for 500 subscribers yet again, and go check out my 28 Days Later video if you haven't. It would mean the world to me. Thank you guys. See you around.